Okay, so I'm going to tell you this story. What would I call it? I'd call it. Um, so I had a meeting with those guys. Sorry, I'm just thinking out loud right now. I had a meeting with those guys, and we'll just call it maybe how I lost my teeth. Why I've lost my teeth. How I've lost my teeth, but we'll think about that later. So, when I smoke marijuana, right, I get mentally ill. Okay, I get schizophrenia. It's all a long story as to why, but for now I'll just try and keep this short and sweet. But if I'm on medication and I smoke marijuana, it's not a problem. Okay, so I'm going to pause this right now because there was something else I was about to do. So just wait one tick. I'll be back in a jiffy. Yeah, so I was 18 years old when I had my first episode, I call them, because I started smoking marijuana probably when I was about 15. So I'd been smoking it for sort of 4 years and it hadn't affected me yet. But it was interesting. My mum, after she found out that I smoked, a little bit after that, she said, Warwick, if you smoke marijuana, she'd call it marijuana. If you smoke marijuana, you'll get sick. Like she had a cousin, Philip, or something, right? That had, yeah, and she was sort of like, you don't want to end up like him or something, even though my mum has mental illness, and that's all another story as well, and my sister does too. But for me, because mum and my sister they'd be in their episodes just whenever it would pop up. But for me, it's just so far has just been when I've smoked marijuana. Okay, so I'd had my first episode. I was about maybe even 19 by this time because I was just coming out of the episode and I was depressed. The medication fixed me up and all that stuff, and I didn't hurt anyone or anything like that. It was just incredibly difficult thing to go through, and I'll tell you all about everything as we go along. So now I've got to keep it to how I lost my teeth. So anyway, um, I was recuperating from the illness, and I can just say it's sort of like being raw. You're sort of raw, and you've got to build your confidence back. And if you've got an ego, sort of build your ego back and all that sort of stuff. And I was sleeping. I was oversleeping, and I don't know if any of you have overslept before, but um, what can I say about that? I don't know. It just sort of feels shit to oversleep, even though I just needed to do it. And then I had this one dream one day. Okay, and this relates to COVID, right? And what happened with COVID. Um, I'll just quickly say, if this is all you've sort of seen of myself, well, you won't get the context. You'll probably sit there and you'll say, he's full of shit, or that's bullshit, he's got an ego and he's a wanker, blah, blah, blah. But one thing I'll tell you really quick is any information that comes your way, accept it. Open your ears and take it. Don't judge it, okay? Just take it, put it in your memory vault if you can, okay? Whatever the information, there's a reason why the Bible says don't judge, okay? And if you judge something, you put a block. And to say it quickly, when you put a block, that's just evilness. It just is, and you'll get to know later on. So anyway, I was oversleeping, and we had a boarder in the house. I'll tell you the address. I was living at 5 Lindley Way in Wanturna. That's my mum's old place. And she had this boarder named Jenny, who was this. If you can picture The Fifth Element, if you've seen that movie, and then there's that really rich guy who owns everything, Zorg, and he's sort of evil, but he has to talk to his superior, of course. And Zorg has all those soldiers, and they're like sort of these beasts with these ears, and they're really stupid. Now, she wasn't stupid, this Jenny, but she was a dark force, right? And she'd found me more or less to just hang around me for a bit, sort of thing. And anyway, like her bedroom was a full mess. She was a carer. She looked after some sort of disabled people. But anyway, and this is all no judgment and whatever, because everyone's who they are. So there's no reason, if I come across as making someone sound, not as good as what they want it to be, well, that's your choice. But I'm not, because I love everyone and I love everything. Because if you took one atom away, right, the whole thing would crumble. So everything's just as important as the next, but there is a hierarchy, because 2 comes after 1, 3 comes after 2, 4 comes after 3, and it's just the way it is, and it goes on for infinity. Lucky we have infinity. Okay, so she was living in the house. Yeah, she was would just pop up, and I'd had this dream, but I just knew it wasn't a dream. Okay, there's sometimes you actually astral travel and maybe you go to a plane, another existence. Okay, and I ended up in this world where, because also before that, I'm about to tell you what I was wearing when I was walking in this world, finding these guys. Okay, which I'll get to in a minute. But in real life, some weeks or a month before that, I bought this new age kind of thing that had stuff about Leo. It had some incense in there, some triangular sort of coned incense. It had bits and pieces, but it also had a medallion that was like a Star of David, which is just as is above, so is below, which is also my equation, 1 over x equals x over 1, but we'll get to that another time. And so in there it had this medallion that had a leather necklace, and it had a Star of David, and it was like brass. So it was good metal, and it was wicked. So in this dream that wasn't a dream, I'd actually astral traveled to this plane of existence, if you like, which would exist maybe in the ether or just in another frequency. And so in the dream, and remember I was going through shit, I was recuperating for my first episode, and in this traveling to this other world, I had a tattered pants on that had like all strips. So if my pants are sort of here, they came up to here, and they were all strips of, and it was like shorts, and I had no shirt on, but I had this medallion around my neck. Now that's what protected me, okay? Because who I went to go and talk to, which I'll just say maybe later towards the end of this video. Okay, so in this other plane, they had these beings on there that they had no mouths, okay? And they sort of had no feet, and they would just sort of fly around, and they were just a nefarious bunch, right? The Nefarians, maybe we could call them, because they're nefarious. So that's another part of, this is all about Star Wars and stuff too. I'm not kidding. And there's a new race called the Nefarians. But that's okay. And so these beings, they had no mouths, but they had eyes, and they flew around, and they took me into this cave. So I was walking just in the desert. It was all grey sort of colour, purpley sort of grey, not much colour. I'm walking like in this desert, sort of just walking along in this deserty sort of region. And then I got to sort of a place that had sort of, it was rocky, and it was just grey, and you just wouldn't want to be there. But this world, it exists, okay? And so I ended up going into one of the caves, I believe, some of their people, because they were just like, they were humanoid, but yeah, no faces, no feet, just a nefarious sort of bunch. And then I didn't think too much about, and then I woke up out of this dream, okay, and I went out into the kitchen, and Jenny, who's a bit of a Dark Lord, she's like on the dark side, and there's other stories about this Jenny, but she was in the kitchen, and I walked into the kitchen, and I kid you not, right? She said to me, she looked at me, she was making a coffee or something, she looked at me and she said, oh, what about those beings or whatever with no mouth? And I was like, what the fuck? And I didn't talk to her. I was sort of shocked by that, and I can't remember if we talked about it anymore, but I just, like, how could anybody know that? Straight away, as soon as I woke up from the dream and I got myself out of my bedroom, she just goes, what about those people with no mouths? What about those beings? What about those whatever? And I just looked at her shocked and like, fuck. So, yeah, that's an interesting part of that. And so I think about this dream for years and years and years, every now and again, as you do. You think about the past with certain things. If you do, maybe some people never do. I don't know. I'm not in their brain. And then COVID hit. Okay? And COVID hit, and of course, we would all cover ourselves. Basically, everyone did. I walked around most of the time with no mask on, when I'm glad I didn't, and no one challenged me about it. But just about everyone followed the party line, and guess what? You shouldn't have, because that was actually World War IV, okay? And it relates to this dream, what I'm about to tell you. which wasn't a dream, which was me on this other plane in this other world. Okay, so we all know about COVID, blah, 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 COVID, yep, from Wuhan. Incidentally, I lived for 3 years, just a 4-hour train ride from Wuhan, because I was teaching English overseas in China. I've got lots of stories to tell. So anyway, and my name's Warwick, by the way, Warwick Peter Reed. Yes, R-I-E-D-T. And guess what? I live at 6 Angelique Street, Berwick, Victoria. Yeah, 3806. Anytime, come and knock on my door. Not a problem. Okay, so, and my phone number is 0455 130 171. And what's my brain saying? Oh, don't do that. No one will ring your number or come around now. Yes, they will. So it's all good. So anyway, so Jenny said, what about those beings with no whatever? Okay, so then COVID hit. And some time after COVID hitting, it just entered my mind, okay? Oh, and what's interesting to say, and it relates as well, when I was 18 or 19 at the time of going to this world, which I'll tell you now, it's the COVID world, okay? The beings that lived on that world, okay, were directly connected to the COVID, not vaccine, to COVID spike protein, whatever the fuck it is, virus, okay? Because every single thing vibrates to a frequency, because everything's actually alive, okay, if you want to look at it. Everything is conscious, because either everything's conscious or nothing's conscious, okay? So even COVID is conscious, and it has beings attached to it that live in another dimension, that live on another frequency. And I went to the COVID world, and that just hit me one day after COVID had happened. And the thing that's interesting is when I was 18 or went through this experience, I had an affirmation on the door about my teeth. Okay, so this is how our quantum computer, because our brains, now I'm jumping all over the place, but watch all my stuff and you'll get to know what I'm talking about. And because everything I say is truthful, I never fuck around and lie about stuff, and this is all according to me, all right? And that's that. And so you might think I'm just a dickhead. That's fine, that's okay. But I implore you, or I hope you keep watching, and everybody's will end up watching my videos. So that's that. So, because I put them in the schooling system, because I own this rock. I actually do. I own planet Earth. So there you go. Come and kill me. Okay? Not my dad. Not anybody else. Not Larry Fink. Not Bill Gates. Okay? Not the Bush family. Okay? Nobody. I do. Me. So you think that's bullshit? Get the fuck ahead. I couldn't give a fuck. We couldn't give a fuck. You fuckhead. Yeah. So anyway, who's that talking? I don't know. Some other guy in my head. Because I'm a Sybil, mofo. Cybil, that's a video. Yeah, but it's a movie. Sybil, when she was, that movie, she had many characters. She had split personalities, because she'd been, if anyone does it, because they've been traumatized. But I do, but I don't. But they are different entities, and I'm channeling, you know, just like Bashar, if you know about Bashar. So when that stuff happens, it's me channeling, that's all it is. But it's actually coming from myself, but blah, 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 blah. So I had this affirmation about my teeth. My teeth are healthy, blah, blah, blah. I can't remember what it said. So that's interesting because this is about how I've lost my teeth, okay? And then Jenny said what she did when I went to the kitchen. She said, what about those people with no mouths? Blah, blah, blah. Get on with it, Warwick. Okay, I'll try my best. I want to do 30-minute sort of videos, and that's the longest. I'm just going to press pause for a second and get some water. Yeah, so I just got to get on with it. And then, because I remember sort of saying, so after COVID, I said something to my sister about it. But so after COVID, just one day, it just fucking hit me. It just went bang and hit me. And I was like, fucking hell, that dream that wasn't a dream, that was me on another plane, and the people with no masks, it just came to me in a dot, all of this, which is that they were the COVID entities. They're the energy or the frequency of COVID, because even though I'm pretty sure COVID was man-made, but it's still living, so it still has it has its thing. And so then I'd realised in this dot, I don't know if anyone gets that, you just get a dot of a concept or an idea, and all the information's in this particular dot. It happens in a brief second, and then you know what you want to say. We could call that a download, what lots of people call it, a download. That's if you watch on YouTube and you get into different stuff and whatnot, they'll call it a download. So in this particular download is everything I've just said, and that what I was doing in this plane of existence that was attached to COVID, I made a deal with them, okay? And the deal was that COVID would not be as detrimental as what it was going to be, and the deal was said that I would have to lose my teeth, and I accepted that deal, okay? Think what you like about it, I don't fucking care. Just look at my whole story and you'll see that everything I talk about is actually real and true, because it all connects together, okay? And I'm the only person basically who can do this, but everyone does it in their own way. And you should know that our brains are a quantum machine. Roger Penrose has found out microtubules are the things that make our brains quantum. So what was quantum about it was I made the affirmation about my teeth, okay, when I was 18, 19 or whenever that was. And I'll talk about other quantum things. Oh, what was quantum was Jenny. How Jenny, when I walked out of my room after having this dream or going to this different plane of existence, had said, what about those people with no mouths, you know? She accessed her quantumness. She went into the quantum field to find out what she found out, and then she said that to me, and that was though to scare me, and it worked. But yeah, and so but it also happened so I could tell this story right now, and it would be way more interesting, right? And so I did this deal, and basically that's why COVID was never as bad as it was supposed to be. And I think that's about all I wanted to say about that. I'll just quickly have a pause and think about it. Yeah, so that's what I did, and that's that. So just wait, I might be back, who knows. Yeah, so all I want to say is that the nefarious ones, which I used to call the people, but maybe we can call them the true nefarians, well, they care nothing about life, okay? They just want to be black, and there's a reason for that. And black's okay, there's good black and there's bad black, and that's that. Yeah, Warwick, and I'm the good black, and where am I, Warwick? You over here? Yeah, see, I'm in the TV. I'm in the computer. Yeah, black absorbs. Yeah, black like black holes, Warwick. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and suns, Warwick? Well, suns just shoot everything out. So there's 1 and 0, if you like. Could say, what would black holes be? I don't know. I need to think about that, if they're absorbing everything, because I'm still learning too. Everybody does, even though I've got the clue, and I'm sort of number one, and everybody else is some other number after number one. Anyway, that's sort of ego, and I don't want to go there. So, because, make no mistake, these nefarious ones, these nefarians, such as Fauci, the Bush family, very much so. Maybe not the whole family, but definitely the two George Bushes, Prescott Bush, if you know about him, because this has been a campaign since the Younger Dryas, okay, to make sure I didn't get born, because I'm the balancer. I'm the balancer, and this is EUNM, Earth Under New Management, okay, because all those guys are going to get jail time. If they're still alive, they'll be getting jail time. Guess where they're going to go? Guantanamo Bay. Yep, Obama's probably going there too. I'd say so. So watch out, freaks. You've got my address, you've got my phone number. Am I scared? No, not at all, because I should have been dead a million times. But I'm going to live, people, and I'm going to make this earth wicked for everybody, and that's everyone. But people are going to have to do time, even if it's just 1 week in Guantanamo Bay with the light on, okay, for 23 hours and 59 minutes, for 2 weeks, 1 month, not forever, but they're going to have to do this time, mark my words. Because, nefarious ones, I'm announcing, and that's that, once again, okay? So don't fuck around, you pricks, because he won't even have Secret Service, because we're around him. Angels and stuff will be his Secret Service, and this ain't Warwick talking right now, so don't fucking flip out. Just take the information, okay? Think about it, process, and just know things are going to change, and they're going to get sick for everybody, meaning they're going to get real good for everybody, but there will be some punishment, and that's that. But I'm a fair boss, he's a fair boss, I meant to say, And that's that. Okay, Warwick, up you go. Yeah, and so that's that. So I'm going to go at 20 minutes and 19 seconds because I've got a bit of OCD. Yep, got a few more minutes, not minutes, a few more seconds to go. I don't know what to say. So I'm just going to wrap it up and come around, say hello. I'll talk to you because I'll be real famous and rich soon. You watch. He will. He fucking will. Okay, 20 minutes and 19. Go.